Luka Doncic hasn't looked right this season. He doesn't play defense. He's consistently out of shape. And yet he came into the league as the season's MVP frontrunner. And in the middle of the night, he was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers in what might go down as the worst trade in NBA history. And it was done by the Dallas Mavericks. Hi, I'm Zach. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, I make stuff about the NBA, and today is a historic day in the history of the league. And we're going to go a little bit more podcast style on this one. I want to start off with a little bit of story time. At about 12:30 a.m. Eastern time, just as I was climbing into bed, Shams tweeted that the Dallas Mavericks were trading Luka Doncic. Here's the direct tweet. The Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick, sources tell ESPN. 3-team deal that includes Utah. Now, my first gut reaction was to check and see if this was a parody. Was this send hell or whatever they call it? And then I asked if Shams had been hacked. He was not. The trade was not only confirmed by him with a, this is not a hack, this is actually real, yes, it's happening, but also several other people were able to confirm the trade, and quotes started coming out, and my head was absolutely spinning. I stumbled into my office and I recorded a short with my immediate reaction. And now that I've slept on it, well, tried to sleep, I laid awake most of the night wondering what the hell just happened. Now here I am to explore this a little bit further and try to make sense of it. And I think what I'm coming to is that it makes no sense. Here's the trade. Again, Luka going to the Lakers and stuff for AD, Max Christie, and the 2029 first. The Jazz get Jalen Hood-Schifino and a couple of seconds. All the reporting that's come out since this went down is that the rest of the league did not know that Luka Doncic was available. LeBron didn't know this was happening. AD didn't know he was getting traded, although apparently he is waiving his trade kicker so that the Mavericks might be able to make more moves or whatever. Luka didn't request or demand that this happen. Apparently, the Dallas Mavericks GM, Nico Harrison, initiated this with the Lakers. They were supposedly frustrated with Luka for not being in shape, and they think that this is the reason for his calf issues this year, and apparently they were just out on Luka Doncic. They are ready to be done with the Luka business. It's not worth it. They don't want to be affiliated anymore. Get this guy out of here. Okay, in my most anti-Luka brain, I get it. I've never been a Luka guy myself. I find him to be one of the most frustrating players to watch play basketball on planet Earth. The way that he is constantly complaining, he doesn't get back on defense. I'm not a big heliocentric guy to begin with. And the Mavs deal with this guy every day. So if they want out, I can honestly understand how you could possibly get there, because I only see it from afar. I know this guy is not taking care of himself. I know he's out of shape all the time, and that would be incredibly frustrating. But this trade, going down the way that it reportedly went down, might be the biggest mistake in NBA history. This is front office malpractice to an extent that I'm not sure we've ever seen. Not just that they traded him, but how they traded him. You're sitting on a 25-year-old who's done nothing so far in his career but pile up accolades with the words youngest ever next to them. Rookie of the year, followed by 5 straight first-team All-NBA selections. He just drug your team to the finals on one leg last season. He came into this season as MVP frontrunner. He was eligible for an extension this summer, but he was still under contract through 2026. Even if he came in and told you there's no way in hell he was ever signing that contract with you, there was no rush to do it this way. And the reports are that he didn't request a trade. So he definitely didn't demand his landing spot. Reports are that the Mavs reached out to the Lakers. It wasn't the other way around. Rob Pelinka didn't call up Nico Harrison, make him the godfather offer to try to pry away his franchise player. Nico Harrison made this decision and reached out to the Lakers first. I imagine Rob Pelinka gets that call and immediately asks if he's being punked. Does that reference make, do you remember that show? And the quote reportedly by Tim McMahon was, the quote reported by Tim McMahon, who covers them, is, I believe that defense wins championships. I believe that getting an all-defensive center and an all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance. We're built to win now and in the future. That suggests that not only were the Mavericks not interested in being tied to Luka anymore, they were targeting Anthony Davis. In their minds, they won this trade by getting the guy they wanted. This is a GM who sees Luka drag them to the finals and thinks, you know, I've really built something just incredible here. If only I could get rid of this Luka guy, we'd be unstoppable. Luka was the one making this team relevant and look the way that it did. Let's look at it. Okay, so you're built now and in the future. Let's break that down for a second. You've overvalued AD as your giant haul for Luka. You've overvalued Kyrie Irving to just assume that he can carry the offense the way that Luka did. Kyrie has always been best as the second fiddle and not the primary guy that has to create everything. Look back at all of Kyrie's stops. When he's been in that role, things have not gone well. But when he's been highly successful, looking like one of the most talented players, like with the ball we've ever seen, and it actually translate to winning basketball, it's been next to a LeBron James or a Luka Doncic. AD is not LeBron James or Luka Doncic. Hell, you've overvalued Klay Thompson. You must be thinking that he's still an all-star if you're making this move. And you've overvalued every role player on this roster to think that it wasn't Luka making them look good. What are you built to win now? A first-round series, maybe? Anthony Davis is a great basketball player. Fantastic basketball. A star. An absolute star. But one of the biggest problems that the Lakers have had over the past few seasons is that they couldn't get AD to take the reins of the offense from LeBron. So now he's just going to be able to carry you because he's playing with Kyrie Irving instead of LeBron? I'm sorry, but no. Are you built to win in the future? AD's 31. Big injury history. Kyrie's 32. Big injury history, among other things. Klay Thompson's 34. Big injury history. And your best young pieces are Derek Lively, who plays the same position as AD, Daniel Gafford, who plays the same position as Derek Lively and AD, and PJ Washington, who plays the 4, the position you're now banking on AD playing a lot of if you're really projecting ahead with this team that you have. They have no backcourt depth. They have no outside of Kyrie. And all of their players that they are building this thing on have significant injury histories. That's not built for the future. That's built for today and hoping for the best. And who knows what happens tomorrow, let alone 2 years from now. And they only got one first round pick in this deal. And Max Christie, who is young, but let's optimistically call it an inconsistent start in his early career. So it's not like there's a haul of potential in this deal either. You didn't get AD plus a treasure trove of young assets and picks that you can continue to build with beyond this year. You got, at best, 1.5. If you wanted off of Luka, I get it. Honestly, I do. But when you're sitting on one of the most valuable trade assets to move that we've honestly ever seen, at the very least, you have to start a bidding war. You have to get back the premier holy shit package in return. And they didn't do that. So if something doesn't come out, some kind of like massive personality dispute where it was just completely untenable, they had to sever ties immediately, or Luka doesn't come down with some kind of like catastrophic injury that the Mavs saw coming. This is the worst deal in NBA history that they sought out. And on the Lakers side, I think we can be a little bit quicker here because you do this 100 times out of 100. Is the fit with LeBron going to be weird? Sure. But who cares? You've got arguably the smartest basketball player that's ever played the game in LeBron, who's 40 years old, and you just handed him Luka Doncic. I think he's going to be able to figure out how to make that work until he's ready to go. And I don't think he's going to have any problem relinquishing the, reins of the team and saying like, yeah, Luka, this is yours now. Because all we've been hearing is how he's been trying to do that with AD for years. And it just hasn't been able to work. This is a silver platter. Do they need a rim protector now? Yeah, sure. But who cares? They've got a few guys that they can still move. Like I said, they didn't dig into they haven't even touched, aside from that 2029 first rounder, the things that we expected the Lakers to do in this trade deadline season, they've barely touched. We thought they were going to go get like a Walker Kessler. This is a franchise with a ton of questions about what they were going to do in the post-LeBron era. We hear all the time on the internet how he's ruining their organization and they're completely screwed when he's gone. They just got a 25-year-old perennial MVP candidate to build around for the next, maybe not decade. Although I did hear Tim McMahon say this, the way that he plays out of shape now is like, okay, well, that's typically what older players end up looking like. So maybe he'll be used to it. Really, it's the injuries, right? Like if he's just carrying too much weight, can he hold up for a decade? But he's 25. You're not hitting ejectocito on a 25-year-old for those concerns. You're doing it for a 31-year-old with an injury history like the guy the Lakers just got rid of to bring in this 25-year-old. Yeah, and he just fell into their lap. And they still have stuff that they can do that if they want to shuffle the deck, trying to make this year's team make a little bit more sense on paper, and then move forward with Luka at the center of everything that they do. Like, I feel like Rob Pelinka was sleeping and somebody just dropped this in his bed. Like, congratulations. Just handing him a get out of jail free card with a winning lottery ticket stapled to the back of it. It's got like 4 of the numbers already matching the super huge mega millions, blah, 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 where people become billionaires. You're welcome. Congratulations. Lakers fans, you are spoiled, but honestly, good for you. The next potential NBA great just showed up on your doorstep with a note that says, thought you could use some luck because Wilt, Kareem, Magic, Shaq, Kobe, and LeBron weren't enough. Not only do you have your guy to build around for the future after LeBron, sets sail at whenever he decides to actually retire because, he's 40 and this can't go on, right? I mean, at this point, did you see what he did in the Garden? I put nothing past that dude. He could play at 50. I don't care, and he could do it right alongside of Luka Doncic. Now, there is the wrinkle that Bill Simmons suggested on his emergency pod that maybe this is a first move, and the next thing that we hear is LeBron being traded to the Warriors or something. But assuming that LeBron is still a Laker, I think that you can also perceive a world where if Luka comes back healthy after the All-Star break at some point and looks like his MVP self, it's nowhere near out of the realm of possibility that they go ahead and just make a playoff run right now too. So you've got a 25-year-old to build around for the future, and he's as capable of literally anyone in the NBA of manifesting a run to the finals out of spare parts. And one of his spare parts is LeBron freaking James. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Welcome to the NBA, where every day is chaos. Like, subscribe, and thank you for being here.